a 12-year-old with 2 kids on 3 buses. I gave up my career. I got out for my husband. When I left my husband, I came home with nothing. I would get up in the morning, get dressed, put on my clothes, and put my mask on. I slept in the bed with my grandmother. He was trying to threaten me. So I went and got me a lawyer. Don't play in my face. I intended to be unalived. It took me laying on a floor in a hotel room, crying out to God and asking him, please, Lord, heal this area of my life. Find you a safe space. And it's okay to start over. In my family, I am a generational curse breaker. I am the first in my family to go in the military. I am the first in my family to go to college. My daughter has gone. My nephew has gone. My little cousin have gone. Because I did it first. I would say that the broken pieces, they do come back together.
Welcome to Candid Talks About Sex for Saints, where we get candid about love, sex, wellness, and relationships. Just so you know, I am Tammy, a wife, a mother, best-selling author, your favorite intimacy and relationship coach, the host of this fantabulous podcast where we're going to promote sex and still keep it God. And I got a question for you. Have you ever wished that someone had taught you more about sex from a faith-filled perspective? Or have you ever had questions that no one could answer? Or felt like if you knew then what you know now, you might have made some decisions a little different? Well, let me tell you, you are not alone. This podcast is dedicated to just that. We're going to fill in the gaps. We're going to break some silence, and we're going to help you to grow in godly intimacy without shame. And y'all, I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. I'm excited because we got my girl, Desha Henfield, on the stream. Hey, Desha, what's up?
Hey, Tammy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Listen, the struggle just to get to the stream, that just tells me that this is going to be a real good episode. Okay, it's going to be a real good episode, and I'm excited to dive into your story. The title of today is going to be called "From Broken to Build Up." Okay, because Desha exemplifies just that. But before we get into it, I always like to do a little icebreaker, a little myth or truth. So I'm going to read you a couple of questions, and you're going to tell me whether or not these are true or false statements. And you know, we can get into it. We can get into it. Okay, so you ready?
Yes.
All right. So the first question that I have is, trauma defines your destiny.
Trauma does not define your destiny.
That's right. It does not define your destiny, but you know, there are so many people that would allow the trauma of their past to dictate how they make decisions. You know,
Yes,
we create like ideologies based off of our traumas.
I agree. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. All right. So what's another one? Let me see. Wearing a mask means that you are strong.
No, wearing a mask does not mean that you are strong. It means that you are hiding the truth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because listen, like people will wear a mask all day long because they don't want you to see exactly who they are.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
We do that often. Okay, let me ask another one. Validation comes from others.
The broken me would say yeah, but the whole me, and I'm still a work in progress, says no.
Yeah.
Validation does not come from others.
Yeah, it does not. We like to try it though. You're right. When you broken, you need that validation from other people, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about
Mhm.
that because I know you say you still a work in progress, but Lord has done a mighty good work on you. So we're gonna talk about that. I'm
Yes,
excited.
yes.
Okay. Let me get another one. God abandons you in your darkest moments.
No, God carries you in those moments.
Always.
Always.
Always. Don't you love God?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I always like doing those little icebreakers because it gives the audience kind of like a direction of, you know, where we're headed for the conversation. You know, just to, you know, give them an idea. But one of the things that I'm excited for having you on this podcast for is because just listening to your story in the little moments that we have shared or hearing about it from, you know, you speaking on different platforms and things like that. So just watching where you are right now and seeing where you have come from, I'm
Yes.
always amazed at that. And y'all, me and Desha actually, she is the, what would you call it? The presenter of an anthology we were in together. She put it together, and I was one of the contributing authors for her book, Letter to the Little Girl. And I really enjoyed that book because we really got to speak to our inner selves. And
Yes.
Desha spoke deeply to her inner self. Okay. And when I say she spoke deeply, I want to say she spoke deeply. And she was affirming her inner self, her youth, her childhood, and all of the things. And so I want to get into it. But before I do, Desha, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
Who am I? I am Desha Henfield. And so the world to the world, I am an author, I am a speaker, I am a coach, I am a mother, I'm a grandmother of two, I'm a mother of two and a grandmother of two. I'm a poet, and the most important thing for me is I am a child of God, I am a lover of God, I am an exalter of God. That is like the most important thing to me. And the one thing I want people to take away from who I am, somebody
Yeah.
who loves the Lord.
Yeah, yeah. She do, y'all. She do. And it shows in everything that she says and everything that she does. This girl love God. Okay. You know that's all, I love God.
You don't love God? What's wrong with you?
Exactly. Exactly, exactly. But when me and Desha met, we met at Win Women and Empower last year, and Desha was like, "Come on to my room so I can have a conversation with you." And when we sat in her room, we just started sharing about everything. It was like an instant connection. I was like, I knew I wanted to be attached to you. I just didn't know how. And so I was glad when you presented this opportunity for me to be in your anthology. But as we get into the conversation, one of the things that I thought about was, again, just listening to your story and, seeing how far you come from. And so I want to start with, going back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your childhood, what that was like for you.
I am the oldest of four girls. So it's me. I have a sister that's 3 years younger than me. I have another sister that's 9 years younger than me. I had a sister who had passed away. She was 12 years younger than me. And then I have one that's like 17 and a half years younger than me.
Oh,
So
wow. Hmm.
those are my sisters. Um, I didn't have a bad childhood. It was pretty decent for the most part. However, with that, um, my mother and I don't have the best relationship. Only, and I won't say only, but because my mother never dealt with her own traumas,
Hmm.
right? So nobody taught her how to love me right
Yeah.
or love us correctly, right?
Hmm.
And so my grandmother was very much in my life. So we would go over my grandmother's house all the time. Sometimes we would have to live with her off and on because my mom, we moved a lot with my mom. And so we would live with my grandmom off and on. And so, yeah, I grew up early because I was taking care of my sisters from a very young age.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was sharing with a friend of mine. I was like, yeah, I don't cook nowadays because I used to cook when I was a kid. I, I don't like to cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
things like that. But
Mhm.
overall, I'll say I had the real children experience. I played hide and go seek, hopscotch, played tops in the street, and ran the relay races and things like that. So I had
Mhm.
those experiences. But in that, I also had negative experiences. Like I've been everything but a child of God to my mom.
Yeah.
The names are horrific. you
Yeah.
know. And I mean, that continued all the way up until my adulthood until I decided to set a boundary, and that didn't come until late
Right.
in my adulthood.
Right.
So
When did you notice, like, because I know, a lot of it comes from, you growing up and you having to take care of siblings, right? A lot of
mhm,
times we don't notice when adults are, I want to say this in a way where they're speaking down to us, right?
mhm.
So, like, how did you notice, or when did you realize that, hey, I don't really like the way that I'm being spoken to and it's really impacting me?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't think I fully realized it till I was like grown, like I
Mhm.
just thought that was it. That's just how it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
It's not that I didn't see other loving families because I did. Like I
Mhm.
had like my best friend when growing up, her mom, I call my mom too. Like I saw loving family relationships, but my
Mhm.
mother's always been the way that she is. So I just thought that that was it. That was how
Yeah.
it was, like the way she cursed at me or cursed at us, or
Mhm.
I would get whoopings. But back in the day, we all, at least I ain't gonna say all, but a good majority got what we call a beating. In hindsight, in this day and age, it probably be considered abuse. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, so I didn't really look at it like that, but although I didn't, I
Mhm.
know that my friends did. Because
Yeah.
as I have become an adult and had conversations, they be like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you made it," or
Oh, wow.
I'm so proud of you," or "I'm so glad you turned out all right."
Mm.
I didn't realize it because I just was used to it, but others noticed it.
Yeah.
My
So, like,
peers.
when you went to, like, your friends' houses and you noticed, that their parents were speaking to them differently, like, nothing stood out to you?
Well, no, I mean, of course, I felt
Mhm.
saddened by the way I would get talked to and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still had my mom, you know what I mean? It's not,
Yeah.
she still was caring for me, you
Mhm.
know, so I didn't really look at it like, oh no. Now maybe I did say, sometimes I might want somebody else to be my mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might want to live with so and so. I
Yeah.
might want to live with so and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really look at it like that. You
Yeah.
know, I think the biggest thing is as an adult, and I know we're talking about my childhood, that as an adult, now looking back at it, I
Mhm.
realized that that wasn't normal.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That no
I
children should be talked to that way. And that's why I didn't treat my children like that. When you
Mhm.
go through that type of, because that's trauma. When you
Mhm.
go through that, you're either going to be what you saw or you're going to be opposite. And I'm the total opposite of what I learned from my mom.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that, because this reminds me of and, I wanna say like my grandmother. My grandmother, so, originally we're from the Bahamas, and there are different islands in the Bahamas, and she's from an island called Exuma. And so we always joke around and be like, the people from Exuma are, like, very harsh. My grandmother was very, blunt and direct with her words. Like, she didn't sugarcoat anything. If it was on her mind, she said it, she spoke it. And as a
Yeah.
child, you don't realize like, man, this is harsh because, children, we're a little bit tender, you know what I'm saying? And so when people are talking to us harshly, in that kind of tone, even though they might mean well, right? As a child receiving that, it might hurt a little bit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because they don't
Definitely.
understand I need to tone it down because I need to be on the level of a child. I'm going to talk to you like I'm going to talk to you because that's how I talk, you know? And so I
Yeah.
understand that. And as an adult, I was like, man, my grandma was harsh, you know? But what did that do for you in terms of like how you I wanna say, like, we're in relationships, friendships, relationships, anything. Like, how did, that play a role in, the way that you interacted with other people?
I think that it made me a people pleaser. I
Mhm.
think it made me seek love, and not seek love in a negative way, but just I just overflowed with love. I I just think that I wasn't one to speak harshly to other people.
Mhm.
Because I was spoken to in that way, I know what I didn't want. And so I
Mhm.
didn't want to portray that. And so
Yeah.
maybe sometimes when I probably should have been a little harsh for some folks, I
Mm.
wasn't. So
Yeah.
I guess I made it shrunk back some
Yeah.
a little bit, right? But I
Mhm.
think it made me more of a loving person
Mhm.
because I wanted love so bad, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, in reality, I figured my mom has to love me because she didn't have to keep me, you know. But that's one of my biggest um things that I've looked for was like validation from my
Mhm.
mom.
Yeah.
Like to know that my mother loved me because harsh words don't say love,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, being a B and an MF and a this and a that. All
Yeah.
that did was pour negativity make me feel unworthy, unloved, unseen, unthis, you
Yeah.
know. And so I think though by me going through that, I think I accepted things that I normally shouldn't have in relationships
Mm-hmm.
just because I wanted to have somebody or feel some type of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that too because like I've had friends and very close ones where their parents, and I'd be like, "Ooh, I want to go home to my mom," because I've been in situations where I've had friends where their mom is just like they're calling them the B word all the time, or they're saying all these tragic things to them. And that particular friend used to run away all the time. Like she just hated being home.
Mhm.
And so like her mom stayed calling the police looking for her because she would go and she would go for days. Was there
Yeah.
times in your life where you felt like you just wanted to like run away and just escape from that?
Well, there were times that I was not a runaway type of a person. I'm very
Mhm,
much family oriented, like
mhm,
orientated. Like I said, my grandma, I love my grandma, right?
mhm.
Um, so, but my escape was writing. That's why the poetry comes in. I was a
Yeah.
big journaler.
Mhm,
That's how I dealt with my feelings and stuff like that. Was there a
mhm,
time when I wanted to escape and like just leave this earth? Yes.
mhm,
Even as a teenager, there was a time when I just didn't no longer want to live. You
mm.
know, this world was heavy
Yeah,
for me. But praise God, he said, no, it's not your time. You're gonna stay here, you
yeah.
know. But outside of that, yeah, I've run away one time in my life with my best friend. Because she used to do that a lot. Hope she don't
Mhm.
mind me saying it. But I one time I went with her. We was going for like a few days, but the crazy thing is we was in the neighborhood. Nobody knew where we was at somebody else's house or the things that we was doing. And I went home on Christmas. You know why? Because this one guy I knew, we went to his house and his whole family was there for Christmas and they was having dinner and it was
Oh,
all sweet. And I started crying. I was all sad. And I was
yeah.
like, I want to go home.
Mhm. You like, "I'm going back to my house."
I didn't get no Christmas that year, but that
Yeah,
was it for me. That was a one and done for me. That
yeah,
I ain't about that life.
yeah. Yeah, I understand, I understand. Running away. Lord,
Mhm,
I know friends that used to do it, so I completely get it. And
mhm,
so, thinking about that, right? Like you said that you ended up in relationships that you probably gave a little bit more than you probably should have.
mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Like how were relationships for you?
Um, I think that now let me say this first, honey. I ain't never been that to get no man my money. I don't believe in that. Okay, I don't. Um, but I gave him my time. I gave him my heart. You know, I excused someone cheating on me, and things of that nature. And so just because I think I wanted someone to love
Mhm,
me or someone to see me. Um and so and I've never been one for like I've always been a strong-willed person, but yet I'm still a loving person. Like I'll give you anything. I won't
mhm.
be giving you my money, but
Yeah.
I'll make sure you have a nice Christmas, a nice birthday,
Mhm.
do something nice. I did cook for my man now. I don't like cook, but I can. So like those type of things. But I think I allow men to take advantage of that because they were doing things that were contrary to what love really looks like to me.
Mhm.
You know, even
Yeah.
being married, like as my boyfriend, I think my husband was pretty cool, but as a husband, he wasn't the best,
Yeah.
you know? And I accepted things that I shouldn't have
Mhm.
from him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is I just wanted to be loved by somebody,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be loved, but it gotta be somebody that loves you back in the right way.
Yeah. So
So
let's talk about that a
that
little
was
bit
my key.
because you're speaking about, boyfriend to husband transition. Let's talk a
Mhm.
little bit about that relationship, how it started and what led to, marriage and everything else.
So see, this is how I love God and how the God has loved me. Okay.
Mhm.
The man that became my husband is the father of my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in the military together at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
God tried to save me from myself. The man was messing with me, messing with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
The girl and I went to school together. I was in college and in the military. So we went to school. And he had just left me. And she was like, he at my house. I'm like, no, he ain't. He just left my house. We got in the car, rolled to her house. Then he wasn't he there? Wow. I said I was done. I was done then. He followed me outside. He was like, I love you. Mm-hmm. And I let him back in, So mm-hmm. we ended up together for a while. We moved in together. This is when he was my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And then we left each other. I went across the country and he went wherever he was at. Didn't know we were still together. He was cheating on me, child. He had a whole nother woman that moved out of Georgia with him.
Oh, wow.
But these were all the signs.
Mm-hmm.
God was trying to protect me. I stopped dealing with him for a while. Came back to Virginia. Got in a whole new relationship with somebody that was cool, But when he wanted to really get serious, I had to make sure I didn't love my ex-boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. you had to make sure.
Yes, that's so crazy, right? That's crazy. But we ended up getting married. But I think we ended up getting married because I think he just didn't want to lose me. Like, one thing I'm a thinker, right? I can push you back. I can give you ideas and kind of help you get certain places in your life.
Yeah.
Just by, ideas. You got to have somebody that's a visionary, right? And I think that he loved me on some level, but it just probably wasn't right. Because in hindsight, my ex-husband's a narcissist. But so we eventually we got married. We had my daughter, and I left him. Like, mm-hmm. I was in the military, and I got out because it's behind. Moved down here to Georgia, where he was from, and he told me, some messing around or something. Well, he was messing around because I wasn't there. So I said, well, I could stay in the Navy, And he's like, well, no, I want you to get out. So I got out. I gave up my career.
Wow.
I got out before my husband. Mm-hmm. I had a new baby. I wanted a family, And then he said he could handle my bills. And this is, but God don't play about me. He always makes sure I'm straight. Mm-hmm. Right. And this is before I was really fully in relationship with God the way I needed to be.
Yeah.
He comes home one day and puts divorce papers on the table.
Wow.
I had just got out the military down there for a while. He had been doing a psychological thing with me, right? If he ain't like how I said something, he'd be like, I ain't paying your car note.
Oh, wow.
What?
So that's like abuse and manipulation. Yeah.
So, yes, very manipulative, very much so, very much so. And I didn't have no family, took me away from everybody and everything and stuff like that. I did have his sister because I love her. She's still my sister to this day. But was very manipulative and controlling in our relationship. And he used that little divorce thing as a tactic because he wasn't trying to divorce me. He was trying to threaten me, to scare me. But let alone, I already had put some money aside and got me a lawyer. Don't play in my face. So, and I mean, I really loved him. It took me way after we were divorced, after he done got remarried and everything. And I had to tell you that story depending on where we go with this. Before I really finally let it go, let him go, even though he had been gone. But for me, took a very long time to get over it. Because I genuinely loved my ex-husband. Because one, I like somebody that's intelligent and can hold a conversation with me and can stimulate me mentally. And he definitely could do that. Mm-hmm. Like, that was what I liked about him, you know? And so, but he was manipulative. He definitely is a narcissist. He's done a lot of little shady things over the years to play in my face and try to hurt me in the ways that he could.
Yeah. And what ultimately, landed an end to that relationship?
I just couldn't take it no more. Like, he was just acting like he was trying to play me. Like, it was like if I didn't do something, if I did something he didn't like, he wouldn't do things that he was supposed to do for us, right? Yeah. And then one time he came in the house, and this is the thing, I don't believe in nobody hit. I don't play that. I don't play that. So he came in the house one day, and I had said to him, I hadn't been in my was in. I was depressed. I was going through depression and everything else. I sent him a text. I said, you need to come home and get our daughter, because and by the time you get here, I probably won't be here. Because I intended to like die. Like I intended to be unalived. So I put my daughter in her swing, and my daughter was a good baby. She was a really good baby. She get in that swing, she ain't making no noise. She just content. Put her in her swing. I went upstairs. I got the pills out the thing. Put all these pills out, and I was ready, because I just couldn't take it no more. And my son, he went with my son. He went back to Philly. My sister came down to get him for me, because I had just been dealing with a lot with my husband. Yeah, and I was about to take these pills with the water on, and my daughter started wailing. My daughter never did that. She was such a good baby. And I mean, she like as if somebody was doing something to her. So I had to go see what was wrong with my baby. Yeah. I told my daughter, I told her this, as an adult, I said, you saved my life. Like you literally saved my life. So I went down there to see what was going on with her. And ultimately, of course, I didn't take my life. One, I had to hold my baby. But then when he came in the house, he was mad, like, oh, I'm taking my baby, this and that and the other. You're not about to take my daughter. Yeah. So we basically tussling for my child, and he purposely, I'm behind him. He purposely threw his elbow into my face. I mean, my eye was all blacked up and stuff like that, And bottom line is, he didn't get out of that house with my daughter, but that was it for me. Yeah. You only got to do it one time.
Yeah. There's so much to unpack there, because you're having this moment where you are in such a depressive state that you're sending him a message and saying, I might not be here when you come. Like, your life would, in your mind at that moment, what do you think was causing the depression, where it got to a point where you were like, I just can't be here no more. I just don't want to be here anymore.
One, I mean, I had been in the military for almost 10 years. I just had a baby. Yeah. My daughter was like 6 months or something like that. So back then, you really didn't talk about postpartum. Maybe I had part of that. But I had big life transitions going on. I got out of the military, my safe space for years. I moved to Georgia. I don't have no family there. I'm not around anyone. I have a husband that's not being supportive of me. He down there, his other baby mama down there. I don't know if he messing with her or doing whatever. He's lying to me. He's playing, playing in my face. Well, if you say something wrong, I'm not paying your car note. Well, I need my car, and I didn't have great family support, because I already told you about my mom, so it's not like I had like major family support that I could go to about these type of things. And I just really felt like I had nothing left, because I had asked him, I said, we going through all these changes, let's go to counseling. He's like, well, you got to care enough to go to counseling. What? Yeah. I just gave up my life for you. I didn't have to get out the military. I gave up my life for you. Yeah. And so it just was overwhelming. And just being there with my baby, my son, like I said, my sister came and got my son and took him back to Philly for me. And so just being there with my baby and dealing with all of him and no support, it just was just too much for me. The thing is, I've lived in depression like most of my adult life. Like when I was in the military, I went through military sexual trauma. So I was assaulted in the military. And so like I carried that subconsciously for a very, very long time, wearing my mask, never mentioning it, never dealing with that. Right. So I also had that somewhere within me as well. You know what I mean? So I was done. I was tired. Yeah. And I figured the world was going to be better. My kids, everything was going to be better without me. And so that was my decision to go do that. But the Lord said, this baby about the well, because
out of it.
She don't do that. And so I know if she does this, you about to come see about her.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Absolutely. I get it.
yeah. So praise God. I'm grateful.
Praise God. Praise God. And just you sharing that lets everybody know the kind of person you were with, because you are in this moment crying out and saying, I need help, I need help. And his
Mhm,
response is, I'm about to take this baby. You know,
mhm,
it's not, let me cater to the needs of where you are right now. Let me
mhm,
nurture that right now. And so I think that is so important that, when women are in relationships with, abusers or people who are like that, to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and making sure that you're not putting those needs above your own, because you didn't have anybody, like you said, you felt like you didn't have anybody that you could talk to, and so you were holding a lot of trauma in, the trauma from your mom, the trauma from the relationship, the trauma from what you experienced in the military. How important do you think it is that you started speaking about what's happening or what happened to you during those times?
I think that it's very important, even if you don't speak out like I do, like out in public and all that, that you begin to share that, whether it's with your therapist, whether you just start with journaling, that you get it out of you, right? That can be the starting point. But I think it's therapeutic every time you're able to begin to tell your story and not cry.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with crying because when I first to talk about all the things that I've dealt with in my life, I would be crying. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
get through it at all without tears. At least at this point, I can get through some of it without tears. Because part
Yeah.
of my story, like people don't realize, when I left my husband, I came home with nothing.
Mhm.
I slept in the bed with my grandmother.
Mhm.
Me and my daughter and my grandmom all slept in the bed. I got a mom. I couldn't go live with my mama. Me, my grandmom, and my daughter all slept in the bed together because she already had other adults in her home already. And my son, he slept on the couch.
Have you joined the waitlist for my brand new book, Hey God, Can I? This is your go-to ABC guide for married saints. Bring your questions about God, sex, and intimacy. This isn't just a book, it's a resource to help you grow spiritually while strengthening your marriage bed. So if you've ever wondered what God really says about sex and intimacy, this book is for YOU. Tap the link, sign up for the waitlist, and be the first to know when it drops. Don't wait, sis, get on the list today.
Mhm.
One thing about me, it's okay to be humble. I want women and people to understand that if you're in an abusive relationship, if you're in a space where that's not safe for you, find you a safe space,
Mhm.
and it's okay to start over.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about who gonna think what about you,
Yeah.
because you gotta save yourself. You gotta don't worry about none of that. Cause that could have been my biggest thing. I ain't going home to sleep. I'm gonna stay over here and just deal with whatever this abuse, whatever I'm dealing with. Cause I'm not going back there so people can be talking about me,
Mhm.
right? What they
Yeah.
gonna say? I knew Desha couldn't do it, or Susu couldn't do it, or whomever you are, but you can, and it's okay to start over. That's what
Yeah.
I want people to understand. It's okay to start over.
I love that for
Yeah.
you, because, you just even listening to the story, even though you experienced so much trauma, right? You still exhibited strength, right? Even in the times when you were weak, God was like, "Nah, this is where I'm gonna make you some strong right here. I'm gonna give you a little bit more strength right here." And
Mhm.
having the ability to even leave and say, "I'm not gonna take this anymore." That takes strength. It
Yeah.
takes courage to be able to do that, and a lot of people don't land there. Like you said, they just sit in the situations and just allow their circumstances to just be toxic, you know?
Mhm.
Where do
Yeah.
you think that strength came from?
Um, crazy enough, it probably was built when I was 9 years old, taking care of kids.
Mhm.
12 years old, getting on a bus. I was saying to somebody the other day. I just it just flashed in my head. I was 12 years old, catching the bus, and this is a Philly thing, from the far northeast all the way to West Philadelphia. 12 years old with two kids with me, a little toddler and my other sister holding her hand as we got on a bus from the far northeast that would take us to what we call Bridge and Pratt, get on the train at Bridge and Pratt, and had to go the whole length of the train all the way down to 52nd Street, and then get on another bus to go to my grandmother's. So think about that, a 12-year-old with 2 kids on 3 buses.
That is crazy. That is crazy because I like even thinking about it now, right? Like having to go, like, girl,
That was far.
girl,
That was,
how were you managing during those times, right? Like what, like I don't even want to say what were you thinking because you're thinking, okay, I got to take care of these kids, but for me thinking about being younger and having to take care of siblings and go from bus, I'm scared to get on any bus. you know, I'm scared to get
yeah.
on any bus. Like, how did you manage?
I just did. I think as children we are resilient, right? And we just do what we got to do as children, right? Um, and again, it's not that my childhood was like super always bad. Because once I got to my grandmom's, I got a little bit of, freedom. I
Yeah,
could go out and be a kid at
yeah,
grandma's house.
yeah,
Kids could be in the house with grandma until she called me and say, girl, get your sisters or something like that. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So I had like kind of somewhat of a balance when I got to my grandmom's. You know what I mean? It's just like with my mom, I moved a lot. I think I lived in almost every part of Philadelphia as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I went to several schools, but the safe space was my grandmom's. The schools I graduated from were all where my grandmom lived, you know. And so I think, God already knew what my life was going to be, right? And as an adult now and in my place where I am with the Lord, I realized that He always carried me. I'm in my right now trying not to be emotional in this moment because, you know, one day I think I was riding down the street and I just really took a moment to think about that. You know, everything I asked God for when I was younger, He gave me. And I never saw it at the time. When I had my first child, I was out of wedlock. I had always said, I'm not having no more kids till married. Didn't think I was speaking that into existence. I got pregnant with my daughter a couple of months after I got married to my husband. My kids are 9 years apart. And it ain't that I was protecting myself not to have no kids. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
He gave me that. In my family, I am a generational curse breaker, right? I am the first in my family to go in the military. I am the first in my family to go to college. And since my daughter has gone and completed straight through college. My nephew has gone. My little cousin have gone. But they all saw that because I did it first. You know what I mean? I am not. I'm never been not been the mother that curses at my kids and all that crazy stuff. I have shown love to my children. I have shown them who God is because I'm walking with God. I'm going into the church. I'm praying, even if not in church, I'm praying. They're seeing that I'm serious about the Lord because He's first been serious about us.
Right, right.
So yeah, like I feel real, like I just feel it inside right now, like because God is just like so good. And I know you didn't really ask me about God in this journey, but
Girl, we're gonna
you
talk about
know,
God because God is what got you through it.
yes, yes. And in all those times when we think He's not there, He's there. You might not hear Him, you might not physically see Him, but He sees you. He's always with you, always caring for you, always going before you. You know what I mean? But that part comes from relationship. You have to get in relationship with Him. That's the best relationship you ever gonna have, right?
Absolutely. I want to ask you though, because you didn't just land where you are in terms of your relationship with God. Let's talk about your journey into getting to the point of where you are, because you had to go through some type of healing. And I know
Yeah.
healing is always continuous,
Yeah.
but walk us through what that looks like or what it looked like for you.
So my journey with the Lord. So I didn't grow up in church. And while I was in the military, I would go to church periodically there, right? And when I was in the state of Washington for a few years, and it was there that I began to really become relational. Because a lot of us go to church every Sunday. People have grown up in the church and still don't have no relationship with the Lord. They just they're in religiosity, but they don't have a relationship with God, right? They don't know him personally. Mm-hmm. They just do waving the hands and all that because that's what they have grown up to know. And so here in Philadelphia is where my relationship switched with the Lord and my healing truly began. I'll say I started going to my current church. I've been in that church we're going on 16 years for the church. So I've been there about 14 years in my church. And I started going there because a lady from my job, her nephew was the pastor. She was like, come visit the church. She would say it all the time. I'm coming. So I finally one day just decided to get up and go. And the church was cool. But my daughter ended up really liking it. And because she really liked it, I would go all the time. But the more I was there, the Lord began to then start speaking to my heart. And the Holy Spirit began to move within me, right? And so I began to be in relationship with the Lord on a different level. And my pastor, got to give it up for my pastor. Arshawn Edmonds is my pastor at Capacity Church Philly. That's my pastor. And he saw me through all of the mess, right? He saw me all the mess. He saw that I felt unworthy. He saw that I felt unseen without me telling him. So that only could have came from the Lord, right? And as I began to read my word, because you have to read your word, you have to pray about that when you're reading your word so that God will speak directly to you. Yeah. Holy Spirit speak to your heart so that you will understand, right? I began to heal slowly but surely. The things that were holding me began to come off because I began to be honest with God. Although he knows everything, right? Because he's omniscient, right? He knows everything. He still wants you to say it to him. Yeah. He still wants you to ask him. He still wants you to exalt him. And I began to do that. And so in doing that, my love for him grew. I began to actually hear his voice because his voice ain't loud like a lion. Yeah. It's not. And so that's how I began to break down some things. So, and I'll say this as well. I'm in church and I know God, but let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with getting you a good therapist either. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you need a therapist and you need the Lord. They work together to heal the whole person.
Absolutely. You said something that I absolutely love is that you got to be able to talk to God and be honest with God. And so, a lot of people feel like they can't be honest with God or they don't know what that looks like. Give us an example of what honesty with God looks like from your perspective.
So honesty with God looks like, one, let me say this. A lot of people say they don't know how to pray. I don't talk to God because I don't know how to pray. Okay. Praying is nothing but a conversation with God. Like you have a conversation with your best friend. Because at the end of the day, he knows everything about you anyway, right? But I'll segue back to my ex-husband. We have been together for forever. He done got a whole new family life and everything. Mm-hmm. But I still had residuals in me. And it took me laying on a floor in a hotel room, crying out to God because I was going through all these emotions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And asking him, please, Lord, heal this area of my life. Take this out of me, God. Yeah. Let me see what true love really looks like through you. I need you, Father. I need you, God, like never before. Yeah. Help me, God. Help me. And that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. And a prayer can be, help me. That's all. Just those two words, help me. I need you. Lord, I don't hear you. I don't see you. Are you there? God, show me something. Show me that you are here. That's it. And he will. He will. He really will. And it won't come like you think. It might come through that girl you can't stand. He might send a word. He might send a word. You got to be open and receptive to receive it, though. And you have to have discernment to know it came from him. Right?
I love that, because what you just spoke about is process,
Mhm.
and releasing it, right? So, surrendering is a better word,
Yes.
and giving it to God so that you can allow Him to do what's necessary for your healing. So I want to talk though a little bit about, what that healing looked like in relationships for you moving forward from your ex.
Well, I mean, me and my ex really we don't talk, right? He is just beginning to build a relationship with our daughter. Okay. Um, but I have been when I have been around him, I can have a conversation with him. Like my daughter one time was looking like, oh my God, y'all just laughing and joking. Cause I can laugh and joke with him. It's okay. Like I don't have that residual stuff no more. I'm good. And um I healed the broken places in me so that I could be ready whenever God decides to send me the person that was meant for me. You know,
Hmm.
like when and a lot of people talk about like going into relationships with baggage. And so I would say like really to a lot of women, take some time for yourself. Take some self-care time, take some time to take yourself on a date, take yourself on a walk, get to know yourself, love on yourself. Because can you truly love someone else if you don't love yourself first?
You
You
absolutely
know,
cannot.
yeah.
You
But
absolutely cannot.
yeah, I believe that relationships such as with another person, romantic relationships, you really should look yourself really try to heal yourself first.
Hmm.
It really took a long time to see that. And
Yeah.
even just loving yourself, I'm still on the journey. I'm still
Yeah.
on the journey with that.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me what I like. I was like, I don't know. Because I have poured out all my life on others. I'm
Hmm.
just right now beginning to deal with that. I have been a pourer all my life. I have been a caretaker, someone that cares about everyone else and what their needs are and focused on everybody else. Part of that was because so I wouldn't have to deal with my own traumas. But part of that was that's just who I was, who I am.
Yeah.
I want to make sure people know that they're loved, that they're seen, that they're heard. Like I do that with women all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like your biggest cheerleaders because I want you to know I see you, sis.
Yeah.
Like you can do this. You got this.
Yeah. So you haven't been in like any romantic relationships since your
What,
ex-husband?
child? What? What is that? What is that? I'll
Hmm.
be honest. Like I have been. I was in one. Um, he ended up being someone that drank excessively. It was hidden for a long time. I didn't know it. But see, this is what I'm saying. God really don't play about me. I need to get that T-shirt. God don't play about me because even with him, when I first met his mom, she was like, "What you doing with my son?" She was like, "Girl, you is just for a mother to say that." And I mean, he treated me very well. He treated me well, right? The other part of him came out later, you know. Um, that was only like my major relationship, I guess. Outside of that, I haven't really been in a really a relationship. I honestly have really been to myself a lot, and just taking care of my children. But my kids are grown now, so I can't use that as an excuse no more. So yeah, because I just don't want no mess.
Yeah.
I'm just way too old for that. And at
Hmm.
this point, especially now, like I'm in church. I'm a deacon at the church, but I'm fun. I'm fun. I got a young lady at my church called me Cool D. But you know, and I do. I'm looking to enjoy life.
Hmm.
I'm looking to enjoy life, and I believe that I am trusting God for my next, whatever that is. You
Yeah.
know, because I've done the work now, so I'm ready
Yeah.
for
You
whatever
hear that,
that
Lord? She ready.
for whatever that looks like. Because
I love that
I'm
though.
a good person,
I love
and
that. Yes, you are. You are. You are definitely a good person, which is why a lot of people gravitate to you. And so, hearing you and I sorry, I actually love to hear you say it because What you are showing is that you're not settling for anything less than God's best.
Yes.
You know, and that's okay. Like you're not craving a relationship, even though you might want one. Of course you want one. You absolutely want one. But
Yes.
after you have built that relationship with God, relationships are now different. Like
Mhm.
you have to have somebody who also has a relationship with God. And we the minorities right now.
Right?
We are the minorities. And so, but that's okay. That's
Mhm.
okay. And what you are also saying is that God is filling in that space for you right now until that person comes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I mean, I have a guy friend that it's nothing, just conversation. He just
Mhm.
checks in. Hey, just checking to see you good today. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm okay with it. That's
Yeah.
all I need for right now.
Yeah.
Until God say, hey, you need to be going out to dinners and all the other stuff with these men.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm think I'm in a good place. Like we talked about a lot. But that we talked in the beginning, you said something about the mask. I was a mask wearer. I would get up in the morning, get dressed, put on my clothes, and put my mask on.
Mhm.
Because nobody would ever think I raised my children depressed. 30, 30 20, 30 years into this. I raised my children as a depressed woman, right? But I was focused on my children. I didn't begin to deal with my stuff until my daughter really went to college, and I had no choice because I lost it for a minute mentally, because I didn't have anybody that had to worry about catering or take care of. It was just me, and
Yeah.
then that's when the floodgates opened, and I began that true healing process.
Yeah.
Right, to be honest with myself about my traumas, my military sexual trauma. I had to be honest about that, what that looked like, what feelings that invoked in me,
Mhm.
the things with my mom, and how that made me feel unloved, unheard, unworthy, as if I didn't matter.
Yeah.
So, all the things I had to deal with, my marriage that didn't work. You know, I've been co-authoring several anthologies, and I write about different aspects of my journey, different parts of my life in each. But in
Mhm.
all of that, that little girl still was hurting. She still
Yeah.
was looking for something.
Yeah.
But in all those things that little girl was looking for, it was all found in God.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that for you. Let me ask you, what is the relationship with your mom today?
I love my mom. I love my mom. I see my mom, like she's in hospital right now. Like I'll see my mom. But she still got that mouth on her. She still got that mouth on her. She doesn't talk to me per se as badly as she did. She still does um go to the left a lot. But that's just because I had to set some boundaries, and I had to stick to them. Like I would set a boundary, then be like, "Oh, never mind, mom." Da da da. But I had to stick to them. I remember I was teaching a class, and I said to the people in the class, I said, my mother, she can't come to my current home because I moved, and I said she can't come to my current home, and I immediately see one of the ladies judging me, right? And I spoke to her in the class. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with people, but I said she can't come to my home because I refuse to allow a negativity to enter into my house. And I know that if she comes, she's going to say something negative, she's going to say something smart, or she's going to do something, you know, and I just can't have that at this stage of my life in my space. But I definitely see my mom. I definitely love my mom. I don't play about my mom. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to my mom. You know what I mean? Because that's my mom. And I still honor my mom, but you also have to at some point set a boundary and save yourself. And so I have to do what's best for me and my family as well in that, because we all grown at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all grown.
And I love that because so many people are afraid to set boundaries,
Mhm.
and they need them. And so how I want to ask, like, how was putting boundaries in place received?
With my mama?
Mhm.
It was up to her. I ain't got none. But I do have them. You know, I told her about it. She's like, I'm coming to you. I don't care what you talking about. You're my daughter. That's your house. I'm
Yeah.
coming there. You
Mhm.
know, so yeah, the reception wasn't good. Reception wasn't good, but I mean, at the end of the day, like she's she don't know where I live at. She ain't coming. But even if she did know where I live at, I would have to be like, Mom, you know, I told you can come in my house. You can come outside of it. You can't come in. I just don't want that energy inside my house. I don't want to have to walk through my house, pray all over it again to get the energy out.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know who will watch this. Don't judge me because I love my mom. So don't be trying to talk no mess, okay? Because I'm not saying that. But you also got to understand that at a certain point in your life, you also have to remember you are an adult too. You have family. If you have children or whatever, they're seeing this. My daughter, that was one of the places when I had the earlier in life had this kind of try to pull back from my mom some because my daughter was like, Mom, I feel so sorry for you. She was a kid. My mother just started cursing me out the blue for no reason. I done it wrong. She just started cursing me out. And I didn't I'm not one of them. Didn't start cursing my mom. I didn't curse back, say nothing back to my mom. I just started to cry. I was a whole grown woman in my 30s.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And
And
so
but I think it's important that you set those boundaries in place. And like I said, a lot of people would be afraid to do it. And I'm proud of you for being able to have the courage to put boundaries in place so that you don't have to go back and relive those moments again. So you were doing what's necessary to protect yourself. And
yeah,
that's important. And I think other people need to understand that too. They
yeah.
really do.
And I learned a lot of it from my daughter. My daughter, she reads a lot, and some of them books, she'll be like, Mom, da, 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 you know, giving me the rundown on them and stuff like that. And my daughter's big on boundaries. She's big on that. And so you know, you're never too old to learn from whomever.
Yeah,
Age does not matter. Wisdom does not have an age.
you're right.
And so I've learned a lot from my daughter. I'm
Yeah. So
blessed.
you boundaries.
Yeah, that part.
I love it though. I love it. And you can see the difference of what raising children in a different environment does. Because you have beautiful children and they grew up very well, they love their mama. And the grandkids too.
Yes, I will say that all that I have been through in life is worth it. It's worth it because you know, my son is married. I have two beautiful grandkids by him. I love my daughter-in-law. Um, and she really is his best friend. And I'm so appreciative. And he married into a family that's big, like they big on family, like they do a lot together. And so I'm grateful and thankful to God for what He has done in that area, you know, for my son. And I pray the same will come forth for my daughter. But even with that, my daughter is an independent woman. And, you know, I believe one day God will send her the perfect man for her, you know, and that's my prayer. You know, my prayers are I don't hear these emotions all up in my feelings, girl. Um, I genuinely want people to be happy. I genuinely want people to feel loved. I genuinely want people to feel seen because I know what it looks like and feels like not to be and to desire it so much. That's just like one of the things I didn't say is like I'm CEO for When Women Empower, grateful to the founder of When Women Empower. But even with that, and When Women Empower, like Tammy, like just meeting you, your energy. I loved it when we had an opportunity to speak. I love your energy. You know what I mean? And I love to pour, like to let you know, like, girl, I do all that. Like when you said you was gonna make those t-shirts, you did that. You learned it and you got it together, started your business. You know what I mean? I'm a cheerleader for my sisters, for my brothers, for whomever, always. And that comes from God too. Like God is love. The greatest of all things is love. And a lot of people say, well, you so sweet, you so kind, you so loving, but praise God. One of my daily prayer is, God, make me more like you. Take things out of me that are not like you. Not saying that I'm not flawed, because I'm human, right? I'm human, so I am flawed. But praise God, He is using me, and I'm grateful to that. And I know that wasn't even a question, but
No,
you
girl.
know,
The questions are questioning, okay? Because we could literally be here all day, but you pour out into you pour out a lot into others. I want to know who pours into you. I know God pours into you, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
who pours into Desha?
um, well, you already said God, so I'll say this: I am grateful. Um, I have a girlfriend named Crystal. Well, you know Crystal. I have a girlfriend named Crystal. We talk all the time. Um, and my church family, my spiritual mom, Pastor Marquisa, she checks out, she checks on me. My pastor, my church family as a whole. I love my church. Like, we literally are like family up in there. And a lot of people can't say that. And so, but who checks on me consistently? I say I got a few girlfriends. Now God placed some people in my life that really look out, and send a little text every morning. Or, I got one friend, older, she's my mother's age, but she's my friend because we used to work together. And I really recall driving down the road one day and talking to her on the phone, and she's like, "How you doing?" I'm okay. And she's like, "No, you're not. I could. She's like, "I know you're not okay, and we're gonna stay on this phone till you tell me really what's going on with you." Right? That means she took the time to really get to know me as a person, that even when I say I'm okay, she knows what those okay sound like. And she knew I wasn't okay because I wasn't. And I did tell her what's going on with me. But I don't like to lay my burdens on nobody. I don't
Yeah.
normally share when
Yeah.
something's going on with me, to be honest with you. I still, to the day, I hold a lot.
Hmm.
But I'll take yours. I'm not gonna hold on to it too long. I'm gonna lay it down when I get a chance. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you throw it over here and let me catch it for you, so
Yeah.
that you can live freely. But I
Hmm.
got I got a few people, and I'm grateful to Women in Power, because I met you, and I know
Yeah.
we don't talk all the time, but I know if I really needed to have a conversation, that you would give me, that I could probably call you on the phone.
Absolutely.
You know, and I don't want to call a bunch of names. I do have a lot of people. I don't want people to feel like I forgot them. I love y'all
Yeah,
all.
for
But
sure.
also, one person I do also want to say her name is Latoya. Latoya, I call her my twin. I met her through Women in Power, and she keeps me in check, because like I said, I am human. And she keep me right. And so I'm grateful for to God, and for all that He has done, and that He sees me, and He knows what I need, and He has begun, well, not begun, because He always was covering me, but as far as relationships wise, He has sent people my way who see past me and my I'm okay, to pour into me and fill my cup, so that I don't get it all the way down to empty anymore.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Disha, we could be here all day. But I want everybody to look and see what being built up looks like, because you came from such a broken place. But just
Mhm.
hearing you speak and speak about how good God has been to you, like, you would never know that you have experienced the trauma that you've experienced, right?
Yes,
And that
yes.
just shows how good God is, right?
See,
Being
yes.
an example for others to basically say, "No, I can get through this. I can still love God. I can be in
Mhm.
my waiting season. I can get I can be healed," right?
Yes,
Because you are speaking from a and I love speaking with women who are speaking directly from a whole place, because that's where healing comes through when you open up your mouth and speak to others, right? They're
yes.
able to see the testimony and see how it has changed and transformed, because without you saying it, they would have never known. And so with that, I want you to, speak to that little girl. I know in your anthology, you spoke, you affirmed that little girl. You affirmed from a deep, deep place. Okay. You are making sure that she got the message.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I want you to speak to, the person who is listening in right now. And what is the message that you would want to share to them on from being broken into being built up?
I would say that the broken pieces, they do come back together. The broken pieces can come back together. They can come back together by one walking in transparency. You have to be honest. There's a saying, you can't heal what you don't reveal. And and I don't mean reveal it to the world. You don't always have to reveal it to the world, but you have to reveal it to yourself. Because a lot of times we are lying to ourselves. We are pretending to ourselves. We put on that mask and think that the person looking back is truly who we are, when that's not who you really are. You got to take the mask off. But I want to say that just because, a matter of fact, you may not even fully be broken. You may just be a little shattered, a little shard. You know how a brick hits the glass and the glass is broken, but it's not fully broken because there's no hole in it, right? So you can come back from that. One, a relationship with God, and I'm a Christian, so I'm saying Father God, Jesus, who was the Redeemer, okay, and the Holy Spirit, who is currently here with us, right? But also, I mean, no matter what your religion is, you know, go to your higher power and talk to them about it and be transparent. Because although they know everything that has happened in your life, they still want you to talk to them about it. So talk to God about it and be true to yourself and to the little girl in you. I want you to know this. I see you. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. God sees you and he loves you so much. He loved you. He knitted you into your mother's womb, right? And he has put you on this earth for a purpose and a plan. He has a plan for your life and he has a purpose within you. And if you don't know your purpose yet, just call on him and talk to him about it. You do not have to live in brokenness. And you can be healed by being transparent, open, and honest about it. Wholeness is waiting for you. Healing is waiting for you. God is waiting for you. So, hey, my name is Desha Henfield, and you can call me up, send me an inbox. I will talk to you. I will pray with you. We're going to get you to that healed place, one step at a time, one word at a time, one affirmation at a time, because it is there for you. And I am so excited about your next.
I love it. I love it. And y'all, when I tell you, Desha, she really will pour into you, right? She really will. And so, with that, I want you to share, your platform information. How can people find you? Where can they reach you? Where can they get in touch with you?
On Facebook, it's my name is Desha Henfield, which is on the screen. DESHA, and my last name is HENFIELD. Also on Instagram, you can find me. You can type in Desha Henfield, or you can look for Noire Sister, which is NOIRESISTA. You can also find me on my website, which is www.deshahenfield.com. I am so excited. Feel free to reach out. Even like, listen, if you need prayer, send me an inbox. And know when I see that, I am beginning to pray for you. I can't wait.
I love that. I love that. She really will, y'all. She really will. I absolutely love this conversation. Is there anything that you wanted to share that I didn't ask?
No, you were really good. I mentioned that I'm an author. Tammy mentioned that we're in a book together. If you're interested in that particular book, Letter to the Little Girl. Oh, there it is right there. Letter to the Little Girl. There are 17 co-authors in that book. It is available on Amazon. I don't have it on my website right now, but it will be there. But right now you can get it from Amazon. And yeah, I'm just excited. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. Thank you, Tammy, for allowing me this time on your platform, for having this sister speak time. This time for us to talk and allow me to just share about the Lord and the goodness of how he can take you from your brokenness to being fulfilled, right? And being healed in the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus. I love it. I absolutely love it. Desha, it has been a pleasure having you on this podcast. And I'm so glad that we had this conversation because, like I said, the day that you contacted me, I was like, I was in prayer about, what are we going to talk about that same day? And then you sent me a text. Like, I was like, let's go, God, let's go. Let's go. But your story that you have shared is one of intention, right? You are letting people know that, healing requires intentional work. You have to read, you have to study, you have to work on yourself, you have to spend time with yourself. Do the things that's necessary in order for you to get to a place of wholeness, right? From those broken pieces. And so I'm glad that you shared because somebody's going to listen to this and they're going to be inspired by it. They're going to know that they don't have to stay in toxic relationships, They're going to understand that I might be going through something where I feel like I'm not going to make it out, but God is going to show up for me in the end. They're going to be going through things where I'm going to feel unworthy sometimes. I'm going to feel unloved sometimes, but you are showing them that God can be the fulfiller of every single thing. There is no lack when you have God, and you are showing that to people right now. And so I'm excited for this conversation. I love that you shared. And I love you. Okay.
I love you too.
You're one of my favorite people. You are. And even though we don't speak, just watching you, just seeing you, just seeing how you move, it inspires me. It inspires me. So thank you again. Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you again for being on my platform. Y'all, we have been talking for over an hour. That's just how good this was, That's just how good this was. And so I want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode. I don't really even need to say much because Desha said so much. And I want you to sit with what she said. I want you to sit with those words because, your healing will come. Right? It's all about building your relationship with God and understanding how important it is to have one with him and knowing that he will carry you through. And so if you have enjoyed this episode, which I know you did, so please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, we will see you again. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.